Hey everyone, and welcome to South Orange County. I'm your host, Zach Siemens, and this is OC Spotlight for Channel 39, where we give the best in quality in stories and entertainment. For our show tonight, we are joined by a special guest. Here in our studio, the spotlight is on Tim Pidcock, employee of the Esports Amateurs Competitors League. Thanks for coming tonight, Tim.
All right, thanks, Zach. Glad to be here.
So, for starters, you work for a company running video game tournaments. Can you tell us who you work for and what you do there?
Okay, so EACL is Esports Amateur Competitors League. That's a gaming platform. Woot Loop is the company that I'm CEO at, and that's the marketing division for EACL. We also have United Fundraising League, which is our commercial fundraising entity that allows us to fundraise for nonprofits through esports tournaments.
All right, so you fundraise for nonprofits. Can you give some examples?
On the platform right now, we have Saddleback College. It's the fifth largest junior college in California. We've also got a nonprofit that focuses on veterans called Patriotic Hearts. And we've got 140 total nonprofits on the system right now.
140?
Yes.
How did you recruit them all?
Word of mouth, a lot of networking, going through people who know nonprofits. I myself work with a lot of nonprofits. I was working with them before I got into this business. So just getting out and about and talking to people, letting them know that we fundraise.
So you said you were the CEO of Woot Loop.
Correct.
What's their role in the process?
Woot Loop does the marketing for EACL. So EACL is just a gaming platform. It's where the gamers can log in, create accounts. They select the tournaments they want to play in. They pay a fee to play in those tournaments. They compete for $1,000 every month competing in those tournaments. Woot Loop, we market, like I said, and half of what the gamers pay through the system goes to the nonprofits that we support.
And that's how they earn their money?
Correct. Yep.
So there are a lot of other companies that also run tournaments using esports. How is yours different?
Well, in two major ways. One, we're focusing on the gamer's experience. So we are the only amateur platform that will cater to the development of a gamer. So a skill level 1 gamer can compete for $1,000 against like skill levels. They don't have to work against a skill level 10 to try to win. So that's one way that we're different. The other way is we're the only ones who are fundraising for nonprofits at the amateur level.
So you guys haven't run any tournaments so far?
Correct. We're preparing to launch with Paladins on November 1st.
What's been your favorite thing that you've done so far?
Learning. Yeah, learning quite a bit. So it's, I'm a 54-year-old guy. I'm not a gamer myself. And I tell a lot of people all the time that up until last year, April of last year, 2016, I was just the dad yelling at my kid, right? Stop playing so many video games. I already had a heart for nonprofits. I met the gentleman who had this concept in his head, and we started talking. I put my experience to work helping him actually build the platform. I'm an operations guy. I do things behind the scenes for the companies that I work for, make sure things work correctly. So I don't necessarily need to be a gamer, but I need to understand what the problems are, the issues are, and then help address those issues.
Okay. So we'll be asking more questions, but for now, we'll be cutting to a commercial break. Stay tuned for more. Welcome back to Channel 39. Thanks for sticking around. For those of you just joining, I'm Zach Siemens, and I'm joined by my guest, Tim Pidcock, employee of the EACL, or Esports Amateur Competitive League. Now, Tim, we've gone over the basics of your company last time with what it does and who it's supporting. And since your tournament focuses on video games, have you ever made contact with or been contacted by any of the people who make the games involved?
Yes, absolutely. We were in E3 back in June. That was our first time coming out to the industry, letting them know who we are and what we're doing. Got a tremendous response from that. 2 weeks ago in September, mid-September, we were at ESCon. We were actually one of the highlighted companies at ESCon up in Los Angeles. ESCon is a smaller convention, 200 people from the industry, but the movers and shakers. And we were able to present in front of them for 15 minutes, telling them about our platform on an educational level and just letting them know what we're doing. Got a great response. Since then, we've signed 2 term sheets with the title producers, Hi-Res Studios being one of them. We will be launching with one of their titles, Paladins, on November.
So does the EACL have any expansion plans in the works after it launches?
Right, yeah, so we're starting in the US, mostly local tournaments, but this is online, right, so it can go pretty much anywhere. As we expand out, we will be a global company. We can support up to 50,000 nonprofits on our platform, each one of them with $38,000 in free fundraising every year. So that's the design of the system. It's all software based. We'll do tournaments in venues for the cash rounds, so we're setting up those relationships as well. Okay.
So we were talking a little bit earlier, and you mentioned you also work with schools.
Correct. So yeah, it's Saddleback College is one of the universities we work with, a lower level university, JC College, kind of like Saddleback College. We also have a relationship with Robert Morris University, where they're going to be using one of our micro tournament platforms to fundraise for their program at Robert Morris.
So what effect do you think that this new type of esports tournament is going to have on the industry?
We think it's going to have a huge impact for the gamer mostly. If you think about the experience of the gamer right now, if they're coming into video gaming, they have an interest, right? They haven't really developed a passion yet. The thing that I relate it to is when I started playing baseball as a kid. You know, I came in, I played t-ball. I had to learn how to hit a ball off a stick, right? And then I had a coach pitching to me. Then I had another player pitching to me. In the video game environment, you don't have that kind of development. So.
All right. Okay. Thank you for joining me so much, Tim. I'm Zach Siemens of Channel 39, and I've been joined here today by my guest, Tim Pidcock. Thanks for watching Southern California, and good night.
Hello, and welcome everyone to OC Spotlight on Channel 39. I'm your host, Gabrielle Alexander, and today we will dive into the life and career of an active member in the film industry. I would like to introduce Keith Terrell, a producer, director, and AD. Welcome to the show, Mr. Terrell. We appreciate having you here.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
So, since you've started working in the industry, what projects have you worked on?
I've worked on a lot of different projects from film, TV, commercials. Just finished Steve Harvey's Thunderdome, ABC, boy band. Worked on videos for like Chris Brown, Usher, Dustin Lynch, just to name a few.
All right. Could you tell us about any of the people that you've worked with and what it was like?
Yeah, I've worked with most recently Ava DuVernay, so that was pretty exciting to watch her. You know, she's one of the biggest directors of our generation, and just to see a master at work, you know, was a very, you know, enriching environment to be in. I learned a lot just watching her. You know, worked with artists like Chris Brown, Drake, so just to see these artists who are, you know, at the top of their game in the industry, it was, you know, great to be around.
That's totally awesome. Although you've worked on a variety of projects, what would you say was your favorite and what was it about?
My favorite project, I might have to say, is my film Penny for Your Thought, just because it was my first real project after college that I did. I had a hand in doing everything on the project, from producing it, casting it, I wrote it, and of course I directed it. So that's probably my favorite, and what it was about is seeing domestic violence and abuse through the eyes of a child who had a mother that was in an abusive relationship. A lot of times when we see any films or, you know, shows on domestic violence, it's usually about the victim and what they're going through. And so I thought it was important to tell the story and actually see it from the perspective of a child that was in that situation.
That's amazing. What would you say is necessary to get into the industry?
What's necessary to get in the industry, I would think, is just making the decision to be in it. So just like anything else in life, if that's what you want to do, then you'll find a way to get into it. You know, I think the most important thing is never giving up, no matter what it looks like, because, you know, it may look like you don't have any ends in the industry for 6 months, but then on that 7th month, you'll meet the right contact or someone who has a brother or sister in the industry, and you'll get in. So it's just about being focused, knowing what your goal is, and never giving up until you reach it.
Yeah, it's really good advice. Thank you for that.
No, thank you.
What would you say was a hard thing that you've gotten into, like a hard moment?
In the industry?
Yeah.
Or, I would say just in the beginning, since I didn't have any family members in the industry, you know, you have to constantly meet new contacts to have new opportunities. And so my first job out of college, I worked for BET and did 4 shows back to back.
I'm sorry to
No
interrupt you,
worries.
sorry.
Yeah.
But that's all we have, and thank you. We'll be back soon after our commercial.
Okay.
Saddleback College enriches its students and the South Orange County community by providing a comprehensive array of high-quality courses and programs. We foster student learning and success in the attainment of academic degrees and career technical certificates, transfer to 4-year institutions, and improvement of basic skills. We dedicate ourselves to excellence in academics, student support, and community service. We hope Saddleback College will be your first choice.
Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for sticking around. I'm Gabrielle Alexander, here with producer and director Keith Terrell. So, Mr. Terrell, what was it like growing up in South Central LA?
Growing up in South Central LA was pretty rough. I grew up in the 80s, so this is the height of gang violence, and of course, you know, never had great relationships with the police in our community, and so, you know, it was pretty much a environment of I gotta survive, and, you know, it's kind of the history of our people as well, just being tenacious and overcoming whatever obstacles we face. You know, I'm thankful to be here talking to you today. I know well over 20 people from that, you know, environment that have passed, started in elementary. So, you know, to be here talking to you is a blessing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. What were difficulties and obstacles that you faced in the beginning to get to where you are now?
I think the most difficult obstacle was just meeting new people to network with, and that's with any new endeavor. And so it was just continuing to send out resumes and look for jobs online, call in the contacts that I did have, and eventually, you know, you start building up those contacts to where you have a huge pool of people you can call to see if they're staffing up. So that was probably the biggest obstacle that I faced.
Okay. After getting to where you are now in your career, what would you say you are hoping for in the future?
What I'm hoping for in the future is to direct more. So we're looking for more projects to direct and write. I wrote a series recently, so that's the next project that I'm directing. And pretty much just staying busy working on great projects that have meaning behind them.
Okay. And then finally, what would you say to someone who wants to pursue their dream of film when they grow up in a rough area?
I would say to them that no matter what it looks like, as long as you have the end goal in mind and you continue to press towards that, you'll make your goal, you know,
Okay.
and just don't wait until you get to a certain age or a certain amount of money. Just make your own things now. Like, it's no excuse. Every phone has a great camera, and so, you know, shoot your own stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Terrell, for leaving our interview on such a light note, and we appreciate you having you here on OC Spotlight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I heard you sing a good song. I heard he had a style.
Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Ashley White, and this is South Orange County's OC Spotlight. On tonight's episode, we have a special guest who is a Native American actor. Please welcome Nigel Redpath.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Cool. So first, I'd like to ask, what got you into acting?
When I was younger, I always had a yearn to be the center of attention, so I kind of had the fire in me to be an actor, and as I got older, enough people kept referencing me to other famous people as far as facial features and personality traits. So yeah, I decided I was going to jump full-fledged, get an agent, and it's worked out so far.
Awesome. So is there any actors or particular people that have inspired you to begin?
I definitely have to give a shout out to Raul Trujillo. He's somebody that has been referenced to myself. Anthony Kiedis, the frontman for Red Hot Chili Peppers, has definitely helped me in his own way get in some doors. So yeah.
I could totally see the resemblance. So if you could play any role in the world, any character, what would you play?
I think to narrow down any character in the world would be very hard, but some up-and-coming ideas would be, I'd love to play Forge from the Marvel Universe. I think Native Americans overall in comic book movies are underrepresented, and I'd love to bring more of a presence there. Maybe Turok.
Turok?
Get at me, guys.
Is Forge a Native American?
He is. He is a Native American, kind of Iron Man-esque character. So he's an inventor, uses his mind as well as his mutant powers to really show a prominent member of the team.
Cool. I'd definitely watch that movie. What are your upcoming plans for your career?
Because I've kind of done a lot of different, I'm a jack of all trades in the sense of I've done music and I gamed at a professional level for a while. I think I want to take some of the elevation of where my acting is going and help combine all those. So.
Okay. I like that. It's a good thing to be well-rounded in the industry. Thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. We will be right back after a quick commercial break. We're going to be talking about your ancestry and your tribe. Stay tuned, everyone.
Saddleback College enriches its students and the South Orange County community by providing a comprehensive array of high-quality courses and programs. We foster student learning and success in the attainment of academic degrees and career technical certificates, transfer to four-year institutions, and improvement of basic skills. We hope Saddleback College will be your first choice.
Welcome back. For those just tuning in, I'm Ashley White, our host for OC Spotlight, featuring our special guest, Nigel Redpath. So, we'd like to know a little bit about your history. What tribe are you from?
I'm Primarily Narragansett, which is a tribe on the East Coast, and it's now more commonly known as Rhode Island. That's the territory that they claimed as their own for thousands of years.
Okay. Have you always been close to your ancestry throughout your life?
I think inherently, I've done my best to be as aware of our heritage and our culture as I can. So I have done like spirit ceremonies and I have done cleansings. But as far as the Narragansett history and truly diving into the knowledge of my own people, it's an everyday process. So.
Okay. So you're constantly learning more and more about them.
Yeah. I feel like that's a lot of the Native American community because our history it's so verbal.
Right. Yeah, a lot of oral traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any unique history about the Narragansett that comes to mind?
I think the Narragansett is one of those tribes that you can equate whenever you think of the Vikings and the Native Americans ever meeting in your head. They're a tribe that is historically recorded to have done that. And that's an interesting fact about them.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Any other rich history about the Narragansett that you'd like to share?
Something that I think has resonated in a lot of Native Americans and something that I really found in my own life that resonated for me is I'm a protector of the people, or I like to be, whether it's in activism or like kind of trying to physically protect the weaker of my life. And I was able to find out and discover that the Narragansett have had a history of always doing that and trying to protect the smaller tribes that peppered the coast near where they resided. And I respected that about them when I found that out.
So they're like warriors,
Mm-hmm.
just a warrior tribe of native.
There was recorded to be a high number of kind of civilians or just people that lived within the village that had a capacity to be able to fight as well. They weren't just kind of a villager or a farmer. And because they had so many men that were willing to fight, they would send those to those smaller areas to kind of keep them protected if they needed warriors or extra people for a hunt, so to speak.
That's pretty cool.
Very.
All right. Well, speaking about the industry a bit more, from my perspective, film in general has become more diverse in its role choice. Do you think that this is true for Native American roles?
I don't necessarily. I think I see what Hollywood is trying to do, and I think that they're making a concentrated effort to be moving in the right direction. I think that there's still a long way to go, but I think because of things like Standing Rock and everything else, there has definitely been more doors of opportunity that have been open for our people.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your insight, Nigel. We're just out of time here. So from Saddleback College Studios, I'm Ashley White, and this is OC Spotlight. Cheers.
Hello, South Orange County. Welcome to OC Spotlight. I'm your host, Carly Wasserman, and we are here today with Max Histrionic. Being able to play any musical instrument is an impressive talent, but what's more impressive is being able to do it all at the same time. And that's what our guest here is today. So can you introduce yourself, Max?
Hi, I'm Max, and thanks for having me.
Of course. So can you tell us your name of your band and what it means?
Sure. Blind Boss is my one-man show, and it kind of has like a political meaning, but it comes off of a old judge from San Francisco in the 1800s.
That's awesome. And how did you come up with it? Was it just history, or?
A buddy of mine was a huge history buff, and he actually came up with the name. Decided to put the two words together, Blind Boss, and logo popped in my head. It all kind of came together at once.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your music?
Sure. It's hard rock and punk based, a little bit of metal in there, and some time signature changes, vocal variations, mellow, aggressive.
Awesome. How do you write your music? Like, what's the process you go through?
A lot of times I'll think of a melody or just like a guitar part and rush over to an instrument, piano or guitar, and start figuring it out. And from that point on, the song kind of, I take my hands off the wheel and it'll go from there.
Awesome. And what would you say is like the most fun part about writing your music?
I like to challenge myself when writing new music. Like I said, a lot of times songs will kind of write themselves, but when you're able to have those clairvoyant moments during the songwriting process and steer it in a direction, that's when it becomes a lot of fun.
Awesome. And so you are a one-man band, so that must be difficult for a live show setting. So how do you have to prepare for a show?
Well, so it's on everything. Once the songs are finished for all the instruments, it starts with the drums, recording the drums. It's all to a click track. Record all the drums in a studio, record the bass to that, some backup vocals, line up all the levels, and then sync it up with live action video of me in costume playing all the same parts. Get big speakers on either side of me and just blast it, and then live I just play guitar and sing to that at the screen right next to me.
Awesome. And so obviously this is kind of a big production. Is there, you have your costume and everything. Do you like to just, switch it up a little bit, or?
Well, this is the fourth version of the show. I kind of like to think that at this point it's just getting refined further. Mm-hmm. Live, histrionic means overdramatic, so I'm just going completely nuts on stage. I'm wireless, I'm running around the audience, I got stage boxes, lights and stuff like that. So variation kind of comes with just spur of the moment things while I'm tuning during a break or something, but it's pretty, I have 3 different sets based on the one set, and it just moves along.
Awesome. And as far as like costuming, do you ever change it like that?
Yeah, it's different every time. I mean, try to be as eye-catching as possible.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to go back to a quick commercial break. I'm Carly Wasserman, and we'll see you after. All right, and we're back. Thanks for staying through the break. I'm Carly Wasserman, and tonight we are here with the one and only Max Histrionic. So we're ready for a live show. So take it away, Max.
Thanks, Carly. This song is called Ego Echo. It's going to be a video and single off my new album, Our Tribe. So many things going on, you'll never get a hold of me. Can't you tell how great I am by my scroll feed? It's dark where I sit alone, what's wrong with me? The millennium's a hit, we're fake pieces of single swiping right to find a future enemy. Strategic waiting period before texting would be the end to find out you like me. Challenging game, keep up with my pace. Discuss thrown around so much it's nauseating. Cloud on the screen wants my attention badly. There ain't enough LSD beer or weed to keep me sane. My ego goes untamed. Now I'm in the gym, taking 50 selfies. Only one will do from a trainer effortlessly. My body's #fab, inside it's so drab. Incapable of seeing what's really in front of me. Can anyone get through to this uniformity? Preaching independence, not hearing to conformity. I'm not a phase, grab my smartphone's embrace. Ego chamber, echoes hypocrite.
All right. So you said that you had a new album coming out. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called Our Tribe. It's a loosely based concept album. Every song's kind of about a person tying up with the title track Our Tribe towards the end. And it's like a punk, hard rock, metal album.
Awesome. And can you tell us a little bit more about like any release dates or?
Well, I'm just going to start releasing video singles starting on Halloween. Every month there'll be a new video, lyric video, and then February we'll dump the whole batch.
Perfect. And do you have any upcoming shows?
Yeah, November 16th at the Wayfair in Costa Mesa, $5. I'm opening up for a couple good friends, Shape Pataki, Alejandro's awesome surf band.
Awesome. Before we head out, do you have any like social media links that you want to share with us?
Yeah, my web portal is camnology.com/blindboss. Got a Bandcamp up. Instagram is blindboss.official. Facebook /blindboss. If you just type in Blind Boss Band or Blind Boss Music or something on Google search engine, you're going to find it.
Awesome. And you're on YouTube, obviously, as we can tell.
Totally YouTube.
Awesome. All right. Well, this is Max Histrionic, everybody. This is OC Spotlight. I'm your host, Carly Wasserman. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
Hello and welcome, South Orange County. I'm your host, Corey Bowman, and this is OC Spotlight on Channel 39. On tonight's show, we have a very special guest from the Marine Corps. Live in our studio is Joseph Ortiz. Thank you for joining us, Joseph.
Thanks, Corey. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So, what interested you in joining the Marine Corps?
So, Corey, I'm just going to be straightforward with you. I did not have any intention of joining. I didn't have any family that was from the Marine Corps. I had zero intention of joining the Marine Corps. If anything, I think my first outlook for what I wanted to do was go to college and study, I want to say nursing, I think what the time was. But how I got into the Marine Corps was through, I think basically one of a student in my class, his name was Blake, and he actually just gave me a card and just gave it to me. He's like, hey, fill this out, man. I want you to do something for life. So I did. And, it's like, hey, you expect a call from a recruiter and,
right.
You could thank me later. And like, okay, sure. So after that, I didn't hear anything for months at a time. And then it wasn't until like my last quarter end of my senior year in high school where I finally got a call back. I was like, oh, this is Sergeant Green, whenever you want to come by, step to my office, and we'll talk. And like, yeah, sure. And, one thing led to another, I was a pushover, and here I am 4 years later, but I'm very glad what I got myself into in the end.
So what do you do in the Marine Corps? What's your job?
So we refer to them as numbers. I'm a 10,051 crash fire rescueman or a specialist. So in short, we just employ fire extinguishing agents and fire apparatuses in towards aircraft, and if they have any form of emergency, we respond to it. And, accordingly, if they're on fire, we gotta save lives. Pull them out of the aircraft, what have you. So,
what's your most memorable experience you've had when on the job?
So the most memorable experience wasn't exactly my highlight of my career, but it was just it was 2 in the morning. The airfield just closed, and we're just like it's time to go home, guys. So, but sure enough, 2 minutes later, we had a call. The alarm went off, and then we had to respond to fuel spill from this aircraft. I want to say it was a MV-22 Osprey, but so we responded. 2 minutes is the amount of time that we have to get from there to the emergency. To put it bluntly, it was a 2-gallon fuel spill that was almost insignificant to even respond to,
right.
Especially in full gear.
Yeah.
And in short, we just stood there for 2 hours doing nothing while we watched people who didn't know how to do their job to clean it up.
So that must have really sucked.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back after a quick commercial break with some more questions for Joseph.
Saddleback College enriches its students and the South Orange County community by providing a comprehensive array of high-quality courses and programs. We foster student learning and success in the attainment of academic degrees and career technical certificates, transfer to four-year institutions, and improvement of basic skills. We dedicate ourselves to excellence in academics, student support, and community service. We hope Saddleback College will be your first choice.
And we're back. Thank you for staying tuned through the break. I'm Corey Bowman, and we're back with our special guest, Joseph Ortiz. So, where has the job taken you?
So, Corey, to put short, I mean, I wasn't as blessed I haven't been deployed yet, and I haven't, really visited outside the country, but I have been all around within the country, I'd like to say. I've been, places north, South Carolina. I've also been to, parts of Texas, Arizona. I've also been to Hawaii, and then different parts of California, for sure. And then, my favorite and most amazing place would have to be Alaska.
Like, why was it your favorite,
So honestly, Alaska is the epitome of any nature and outdoors place to be. I mean, aside from the great weather, the nice people, the seclusion of the island that I was at, it was so nice because you had these native dogs that always came to you. That always made it really feel like home. They always visit our campsite. That's pretty cool.
Did you have a favorite dog?
Yes. Funny you should ask. So I had this one dog. This brown dog. I couldn't really tell what breed it was, but to put it bluntly, it was just this dog. But her name was Eileen, according to one of the natives, and she only had 3 legs. So
what happened to her?
So long story short, if you didn't know Eileen, or Tripod, as we called her, Tripod always was willing to play. She always wanted to do something. She was just super energetic, but she's always energetic at the wrong times.
Right.
So one time, a Marine before me and my unit showed up. He sadly ran her over because she got in front of the Humvee as it was in motion. And as a result, her leg had to be amputated. But, long story short, yeah, they spent thousands of dollars just trying to bring her back to the mainland and try to, keep her alive and have her come back. So
after the accident, how was she?
So, you know what? I gotta say, there's a little, rainbow on the horizon. She is super energetic still. If anything, she's more energetic than she was before. Nothing like that really stopped her. She still wants to run around and play, wants you to play fetch with her all the time. And honestly, she'll bring you back any stick or pebble, rock, have you that you throw, and she'll bring that exact one back to you. She's the epitome of a great hunting dog.
So Alaska was your favorite place since you've left Alaska. Mm-hmm. Have you been able to keep up with Tripod in any way?
Yes, I have. So, after, units like mine, we keep getting cycled through to go to Alaska and do that project and building a runway for those native people. And I keep in touch with the natives and the people from the units coming in, and they send me videos of her and photos all the time. It's awesome.
So with Alaska being your favorite place you've been, where has been your least favorite place?
My least favorite is, without a doubt, 29 Palms, California. By hands down. It was just terrible, man. I don't know how people do it.
What was so bad about it?
So aside from the terrible dry heat, there's literally nothing there for miles. I don't know, no offense to anybody who lives there, but I don't know how. Aside from Joshua Tree, there's nothing else I can think of that's out there.
So if you could pick one place to go to be deployed or any station, where would you want to be?
I would definitely want to go to Hawaii. Aside from Hawaii again,
right.
I gotta say it's Australia. Australia was big on my list because nothing but positive feedback from the people that I know that went there.
Thank you so much for being here. It was a great interview, and we're running out of time. And I'd like to thank you again, Joseph Ortiz, for coming in today. And I want to thank all of you for watching back at home. I'll see you next time here on the OC Spotlight. Thank you.
Bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-N. This shit is bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-N. This shit is bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-N. This shit is bananas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us here on Channel 39. I'm your host, Sarah Zinn, and this is OC Spotlight, where we take an in-depth look at what's happening in the community. Tonight, I'm sitting down with a good friend of mine, Harrison Shin. He's a local artist who wears a banana suit in public. Harrison, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So you wear a banana suit in public. Where did you get the idea?
It started 2 years ago. We were making this art film for a class, and we couldn't come up with any ideas, and we saw this like really old, dried up banana peel tangled up in some bushes, and it was like during sunrise. The sun was shining right down on it, and it was like a sign from above. And so that's what we made the film about a guy in a banana suit. And it just kind of started there and turned into this.
Yes. Yeah. Here we are now. So given that was the first time you wearing the banana suit in public, how would you say it went?
It was unexpected because it's funny because I wasn't even supposed to be the one in the banana suit in the film, because I had this other actor who was supposed to play the Banana Man, and he bailed on me last minute, and I didn't want to scrap the project, so I decided, screw it, I'll just do it myself. And now it's all people know about me. They just call me the Banana Guy, and
Yeah. So offset, if you're wearing the banana suit, what do you do?
So I wear this at home too. Just whenever I see it, I'll just put it on, just go about my day. I'll be, making coffee, just squatting.
The normal stuff.
Yeah, just getting chased by my cat around the house. Yeah.
And what's the best reaction you've gotten wearing the suit in public?
The best reaction is when people just kind of stop and they just look at this and they just go, why? Because I don't know, it's just funny to me how people are trying so hard to find meaning in everything, and I'm just looking at them going, what do you mean why? I'm just doing this because I feel like it.
Yeah.
And
have you worn other costumes, or has it always been banana?
So before the banana suit, back in high school, I had to wear this shiny red sequin dress for this show I was doing in the high school choir. And before that, before I was born, my parents thought I was going to be a girl. So they bought this dress. And when I was born, it was too late to return the dress at that point. So I spent the first few months of my life in a dress, half the time. So
That's okay. How do you feel about other fruit suits and even vegetable suits?
I see people wearing, stuff like carrot suits or, like apple suits, but I don't think anything is as funny as the banana suit. I think there's just something about the banana, when people look at it, they just think that's funny.
Yeah.
So, I acknowledge that the other suits exist, but nothing beats the banana suit.
And if you can't be a banana, you had to pick another fruit or vegetable, what would you do?
I would rather be dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for those insightful answers, Harrison. We'll be right back after the commercial break with a bunch more questions. Stay tuned to this week's episode of OC Spotlight.
Saddleback College enriches its students and the South Orange County community by providing a comprehensive array of high-quality courses and programs. We foster student learning and success in the attainment of academic degrees and career technical certificates, transfer to four-year institutions, and improvement of basic skills. We hope Saddleback College will be your first choice.
Welcome back to OC Spotlight. Thanks for sticking with us through the commercial break. For those of you just joining us, I'm Sarah Zinn, and this is local artist Harrison Shin. So, have you ever gotten self-conscious while wearing the suit in public?
I was definitely self-conscious when I first shot the film that I wore this suit for, because getting in front of the camera was something I didn't expect to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was definitely self-conscious at first, but I had a job to do, and like right out the gate, I had people just looking at me a lot. So I got over it pretty quickly, I would say, and now I just don't really care.
Would you say that helps you just not care what others think of you in general, or
Yeah,
is that just like a small case?
I think that project definitely helped me to have more confidence in life in general. So I definitely think that even outside of the suit, I find myself being more confident in just all aspects of life. So I guess I owe a lot to this banana suit. We've been through together a lot, and hopefully there's more in the future.
I'm sure there'll be more, so much more. So with Halloween coming up, are you concerned with other people choosing bananas as their costume of choice?
Well, so given the history I have with the banana suit, I feel like it's my thing. So I definitely get annoyed when I see other people wearing the banana suit, but it's a free country. They are free to wear whatever they want. Just go for it.
Go for it?
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, let's say you come across a group of people dressed as bananas on Halloween. What would you do?
I would approach them, and as a joke, I would challenge them to a fight to the death, Thunderdome style, see how they react,
And if they decided to go for it, do you think you would win?
I think I could take down a few with me before I go, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Well, before we go, do you have any form of social media people can seek you out on to keep up with the whole banana thing, or other?
I don't really plan this out ahead of time, so it kind of just ends up in random places. So I honestly can't tell you where to look out for me in the future, but I mean, hopefully you just stumble across.
Well, once again, thank you for sitting down with us and enlightening us why you dress up as a banana. I'm Sarah Zinn, and join me again next week for another edition of OC Spotlight.
Hey, yeah, 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 yeah.